Guys, welcome to the show. This is your host, Nick Nascimento on the Rainmakers podcast. So stoked to have you guys. I appreciate you tuning into the channel. Today, guys, I'm flying solo again, rocking a solo podcast. I got a lot of positive feedback on the last one. If you haven't listened to it or watched it, listen to the 5 T's of trust. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about how to sell like a CEO. So for those of you who don't know me, I have been a top sales performer for over a decade, and now I am a CEO. I'm a business owner. I've built a pest control company, and now I own a solar company as well. We have about 50 salespeople. That's growth within 12 months. And we have crazy momentum. I can see us being at well over 100 people by the end of the year. I'm so grateful. And I love just being a student of success, of salespeople, of entrepreneurship. And I'm going to share some of the secrets that I've learned going to high level mentors. Okay. Some of them billionaires, and some of these guys, multiple eight figure, 9-figure entrepreneurs, Tony Robbins, and many others. And I've taken the principles and I've basically extracted them and implemented in my own life. My company's on pace to do well over 30 million in this first year. And again, we'll likely do over 100 million in the following year as well with our trajectory. And so I love to share the principles I've learned to grow my business, change a lot of things in my personal life. Although I'm far from perfect and I have so many flaws, I love progression. I love improvement. I love helping people find the same growth in their life. Okay. And what's amazing is these principles that have helped grow my business and grow leaders and some of the top executives all over the world are some of the same principles that create the greatest salespeople. Whether you recognize it or not, there are so many correlating themes between top salespeople and top entrepreneurs. Okay, the way I look at it is sales is a gateway to entrepreneurship. Okay, as a salesperson, you are basically an entrepreneur. Okay, where you have a proven system that works, a company that already has a product for you to sell. You just got to go work for yourself. Okay. Entrepreneurship is just the next leap where you go off on yourself completely. Okay. And so there's so many principles that align from how to manage your schedule and to how they set goals, to their mindset, to their disciplines, their habits, how they network, how they view their money, how they invest in themselves, their character, their nature. Okay, we're going to talk about these principles and the correlating themes of successful CEOs and how to sell like a top CEO. Okay, how to influence, how to win people over, how to close more deals. And these principles, again, will help you not just sell more, but also if you want to grow a team, grow a business, as I have. So I love finding just the patterns of success, as Tony Robbins always talks about how success leaves clues and there's patterns. And when you start recognizing the patterns, you can start reverse engineering the success. And success has a science to it. There's literally an equation to anything you want. That just find somebody who's achieved it and duplicate what they've done. Okay. Now, fulfillment, that's a different story. The fulfillment's more of an art. It's finding things that you're passionate about that actually make you happy. Okay. We're all different, but usually some form of contribution is huge. But I love helping salespeople grow and entrepreneurs grow in both of these regards. Okay. And so a lot of my vision and focus over the years has been helping salespeople become selfless and serve people, detach, not use high pressure, high, stress closing tactics on customers to manipulate and hard close a deal. I take no pride in being a master closer. I'm a master communicator and I'm a master coach, and I help people find the conclusions themselves. And I believe the best teachers ask the best questions and help their students arrive to the answers themselves. Okay. And if you study Jesus, he's very influential. And I'm Christian myself. And so I follow Jesus. And if you study Jesus, he's amazing at teaching and asking questions. And so there's a lot of principles to also, you can take straight from the Bible, guys, and apply to business and to sales. Okay. Now, first thing I want to hit on, okay, correlating theme with successful CEOs and salespeople is they have a massive vision. Okay. A vision much bigger than just selling. Okay. Now, first of all, there has to be a vision for you. You've got to sell yourself on not just your product. Okay. I always say you sell to the degree that you're sold, but you have to also be sold on serving people and sold on yourself. So I call these the 3 Ps. It's product, people, and then personal. Okay, you got to have conviction in all three of those areas, but the most important is you, because you are a walking, talking billboard. Okay, and successful CEOs can take their vision in the future and reverse engineer from where they want to go to exactly where they are now and the steps they need to take to get there. So they can see that path of progression. Great salespeople can see the same thing. They understand that whether they're knocking doors, cold calling, it's not a forever thing, especially if they get disproportionate success and outwork people, outtrain, outlearn, get better proximity, invest in themselves. They level up and grow where they build teams and don't have to continue doing those things. And I'm a witness of that myself. I've doing that as we speak, right? I want to knock doors because I love it. I'm one of those weirdos. I literally can't though, because we're so busy. We're growing so fast. We're onboarding so many people. I'm here recording this podcast late at night, and just because we're so busy. So look, the bigger the vision, guys, that you have, the bigger the action you take. So nobody wants to knock doors. Nobody wants to cold call, but people with bigger visions and a bigger why can see that as temporary. And the bigger the why, the greater the action. The greater the action, the greater the results. The greater the results, the shorter the time they have to eat shit. Whether you're selling door to door or whether you're cold calling, whatever your shit is, you're eating shit. Okay. And if you're one of those cool dudes that just sits on a desk or on a computer and takes in warm leads, you're still eating shit, bro. So there's no ego with that. Okay. And the shit you eat is actually, you have no control. You have very little control over your success. So pick your poison, right? So I love door to door because you can prospect. It's infinite prospecting. It's beautiful. You can full on take the damn reins of success and just control it, right? So call me a control freak. I love it. Anyways, so again, the bigger the results you get, the faster the growth, which means you can escape whatever that rat race is, whether it's cold calling, door knocking. Okay. I've seen this. I preach this. Like, you want to lead from the front, just be it, do it. I wasn't trying to get off the doors, but because I got unprecedented success, making over 200,000 a month in net commissions, that attracts a lot of people, right? But more than the professional success was the personal success is actually what has created a magnet for my company. I'm going to share a little gold nugget. Okay. But the more you invest in yourself, the faster you'll actually attract people. People are attracted to results personally and professionally. Okay. And the reality is, Jim Rohn, who mentored Tony Robbins, who was also a master salesman, always said, work harder on yourself than you do on your sales job. If you work hard on your sales job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. Okay. Building a business is how you grow. And you can't build a business without people. You can't attract people unless you're an attractive person. You can't become an attractive person unless you do self-development, not sales training, self-development. Okay. So with that, and that's a whole thing for me, guys. I am a massive proponent of prioritizing the conviction, the why, the impact for people, and also prioritizing yourself and self-development over sales training. Okay. The guy, I'll pick a guy 10 times out of 10. I'll put my money on him that has no sales training experience, but is a self-development machine. Okay. They have the confidence, they have the work ethic, they have the desire to serve. Okay. I'll take that person 10 times out of 10 over the skilled sales rep. All right. So they always win. So see the vision also for your people and how you want to impact. That's another key thing for leadership, is they're selfless. Okay. And then again, focus on selling the why, not the what. Okay. So I want to dive into the next thing. Top CEOs have certainty and maniacal focus. All right. So the pinnacle of leadership, Tony Robbins says, is certainty. Okay. What do I mean by certainty? They make decisions with absolute certainty. Even if they're wrong, they act like they're always right. And you have to have a certainty in yourself to be able to make decisions like that. So that leads me to another point. All of them are very decisive as well. Okay. Most of these guys, when you go to a restaurant with them, they don't even take time looking at the menu. They just say, hey, get me the nicest thing that you recommend on the menu. It's just very quick, right? And a lot of unsuccessful people have decision fatigue. They overthink everything. And the reality is, to move quick in business and sales, you've got to think fast. Whether you're responding to objections or you're making business calls and decisions, you've got to be on your toes and move fast. Okay. Um, the other thing I want to hit on, okay, is that top business people are fanatics with their time. All right. They all use a calendar. And there's two types of people when it comes to time: either people that are being ran by the day or people that run the day. You're being controlled, reactionary, okay? Or you're in control and you're being proactive. So there's only two types. A lot of salespeople and a lot of entrepreneurs are very reactive, and they don't really move the needle that fast. And Jim Rohn would always say, taking action isn't what gets you success. If you're just moving, but you're going to figure eight, you're not going anywhere, right? And so you've got to be progressing, and having going back to certainty is critical, because you got to take action knowing where you're going and what you want, why you want it. Okay. And even if you're wrong, just having the certainty propels you so far forward that even if you took a wrong decision, there's going to be other benefits of taking that massive action. Okay. So the other thing, going back to time blocking and time management. Okay. These great entrepreneurs always follow a schedule. They set their targets, and then they block off the time necessary to achieve those targets. Okay. So they follow their calendar to a T. Great salespeople are the same way. Okay. When I was making $200,000 a month, I would time block my prospecting time, and then I'd set KPIs, okay, key point indicators of the certain metrics that I had to hit. And I was focused on inputs over outputs. So this is another point. Great CEOs are very numbers driven. Okay. They're obsessed with numbers. Numbers tell all. They are the quickest way to get the health of your business. It's the same thing with sales. Numbers are your stats, your KPI. They tell you what's going on. Okay. It's the first thing when I coach somebody in sales. I've taken people from 50,000 to $500,000 in less than 6 months, coaching them one-on-one. Okay. And the first thing I do with anybody that comes in my office or hops on a call with me is I look at their stats, right? That is always step one, is look at the numbers, get an analysis on what's going on, because those numbers will communicate more than anything that will come out of their mouth in the next 5-10 minutes. All right. It summarizes so much, which allows you to make quicker decisions and pivot. Okay. So before I even used apps and tech that track my KPIs and the people I talk to, I would literally manually track this myself, and I would write it down at the end of every night. So you have to know your data and follow the systems that produce the success. Okay. And so I knew down to a T, if I did X, if I talked to 20 people per day, if I set 2 appointments, 3 appointments, 4, whatever it was, that I would make on average, $15,000, $10,000 to $20,000 per day. Okay. And even on days where I didn't sell somebody, I didn't have to have the pressure to perform, because I knew that the prize would follow the process. And so I figured out what that process was, stuck to it, and just followed it day in, day out. Okay. It's a machine you put in and it spits out. So great entrepreneurs are all numbers driven. I remember being with Grant Cardone in the room, and he asked, who in the room, okay, in this mastermind, who knows all your stats and all your data, okay, and your business currently right now, the sales, everything. There was only like 3 people out of over 100 people that raised their hand. And it's no surprise that those 3 people their business was well over 8 figures. Okay. And 2 of them were doing over 9 figures. So that shows that when you have the data and you track the numbers, it's not everything, but it's the foundational part to building and scaling. Okay. And to maintaining success. So it also allows you, if you need to pivot and focus on training, or if your area or whatever it is, if your leads are off, like you get out of your head. Okay. I remember sometimes having an off day, or what I thought was an off day, but it was just me being off. And I looked at my data, and nothing was actually off. It was like, this is totally normal. So that kind of helps you take the pressure off to perform, which means you sell better if you have that focus. Okay. So they're obsessed with numbers. Okay. They are fiercely competitive. Okay. Great CEOs see the business as a game, not a job. Great salespeople see the same thing. Okay. They get to go to work. They're stoked to compete. And the other thing too with this is great entrepreneurs and CEOs, they put themselves in rooms with people that are better than them because they're at the top of the food chain. If you're not growing, it's going to be hard to attract and retain people that grow in your company. And as a builder, as an entrepreneur, you have to build your people up. I see so many leaders that have this scarcity mindset that are afraid to graduate and grow their people because they don't want them to know all the secrets. For me, I live the law of legacy. I want my people to be better than me. I know some of them will leave. That's great. I know I'm going to build a ton of companies outside of Sparta and my company that I'm building, and I'm more than happy with that. Okay. But I also know that you reap what you sow. Because of the value I bring people, I will also attract and build a large company. Okay. And so, the other thing, they are masters of delegation, duplication, and multiplication. And this comes back to their obsession on time management. Okay. Great salespeople are masters of time, and they understand that the number one problem is not people telling them no. The number one problem is you allowing people to waste your time. And so you have to also understand your earnings per hour. Okay. So great entrepreneurs know exactly what their time is worth. So, for example, anything right now that is under $1,000 per hour, I delegate. Okay. And obviously, most activities don't cost more than $100 per hour to delegate to somebody. But I know my time is worth well over $1,000 per hour. And therefore, I choose to avoid as many activities as possible that are in that field. Okay. Because they slow down my growth. And so, this, for example, if you are out closing deals, right, and you are also knocking doors or generating leads, that is something that can be delegated. Okay. You can train somebody to go set leads for you. Okay. And eventually get to a point where I'm at where you can have people set leads for you and close leads for you. Right. And the first thing that most salespeople don't understand is they don't understand that they're trading their time for money. Right. They just go to work. Most of them don't even follow a schedule. They just work when they want to work and, or they hit their quota or their numbers and they're good. Right. And you have to understand that there are things that you do during your day that are costing you time. And there's major time and minor time in sales and in business. Okay. But in sales, major time is time in front of your prospect. Minor time is anything else. And you don't want to major in minor things. If you do, you're going to make minor leagues money. Okay. So taking notes on prospects, planning out your area, building out your lists, setting follow-up, those are all minor tasks. They can be delegated and they should be delegated. Okay. Get them off your plate, have somebody else do them. You want to maximize your time in front of another human that is a qualified prospect. Okay. So the other thing is you have to understand there's 3 aspects to your schedule. Great entrepreneurs and very few, even great salespeople, understand this. But there is working on yourself, there's working on the business, and then there's working in the business. Sales is one-to-one, marketing is one-to-many. Okay, but sales is a linear game. No matter how good you are, if you make $2 million a year, bravo, congratulations. You're still trading your time for money. As long as you stop working, you're toast. Okay. So you have to understand the game of delegating and growing or duplicating yourself. Otherwise, you'll always be trading time for money. And for some people, that's okay. They're okay with that. And that's great. Okay. I'm trying to help people that want to level up and grow in all areas of life and take their game and their impact to a new level. Okay. And the other part of this is if you do this, you'll empower other people to make a lot of money, which I think is something for you to get passionate about. That's why I started my company. It wasn't to make more money. It was because I thought it would be very selfish if I didn't share the breakthroughs I've had and if I kept them all to myself. Right. So, so there's going back to working on the business. Okay. Working on yourself is self-development. That should be the first part of your day. Working on the business and then working in the business. Working in the business is sales. It's trading your time for money. Okay. Working on the business is anything that is the form of duplication. So marketing is working on the business. Creating SOPs, building out trainings is working on the business. Hiring new people, recruiting is a form of working on the business. So you want to allocate time every week to working on the business. This is how I went from 200,000 a month to where I'm at today. Right. And with that, the first thing I duplicated was somebody to set for me. Okay. And so I was still able to maintain 200,000 a month, but have more time to work on the business, which allowed me to build out the frameworks and systems for what is Sparta Solar today, the foundation for it, right? So much has changed since then, so much. And I've learned through a lot of failure. But you got to understand this game of delegation, duplication, and multiplication. It's just how do you create and multiply your success? And I remember when I first started getting into sales, like I was a phenom and I had believed other people that it was my area. And then after a couple of years, I realized it wasn't the area, it was me. But then I had other people as I switched companies that were over me. They said, "Oh, dude, he's an amazing salesman, but he's not an amazing trainer." And so I started believing it, right? I'm like, oh, they must be right. I just have a gift for this and I don't know what I'm doing. And that has changed. I have fully duplicated my systems, people in my company making 6 figures a month. So if I can do it, you can do it. Okay. But you've got to realize what you're doing. If you can have somebody do it 70% as efficient as you, it should 100% be delegated. And what a lot of entrepreneurs and salespeople make the mistake of is saying, "Oh, they're the goat. Like they just have a gift to gab, or their success can't be duplicated." Right? That is the biggest myth. So, um, like to say, "Hey, like somebody's born charismatic." No, I can define charismatic as smiling, high energy, nodding their head, great eye contact, right? Uh, uh, good tonality, strong, confident voice. Okay. Those are skills that are developed, but somebody that doesn't understand that will just kind of make it a very vague thing. Okay. So one of the other things here, guys, is that great entrepreneurs invest heavily in themselves. And I don't see salespeople doing this enough. Okay. Entrepreneurs know, hey, dude, look, if I got to spend $250,000 on self-development, it's not even a question. I spend well over $5, $6, $7, $8,000 a month on self-development, and it has a massive ROI, massive. Okay. And salespeople just don't think this way. And I'm talking more than just buying a course and training. Okay. I used to sell a course. We don't even do it. Um, the big thing you want is proximity to high level people. And I realized getting proximity to high level entrepreneurs actually moved the needle for me faster than any sales training did. Okay. So you want to invest in yourself, get some form of accountability. If you can, get a coach and get something that's going to help you develop in other areas of your life and learn the things that I'm telling you here: entrepreneurship, investing in yourself, delegation, time blocking, right? So, they also are avid readers. The average CEO reads 60 books a year. Honestly, I think that is bullshit. I don't doubt that. I know they do. And I think it's kind of dumb because a lot of people know things, but they don't take action on it. And knowledge is not power, it's potential power. All that matters is the knowledge that you execute on. I know some very high level people that just read a few books a year, but they act on everything they learn and they're very intentional with what they put in their mind. Okay. And so just take note on that. The other key thing here is organization and just diligence. So, examples: I've always been just in general, great entrepreneurs are very organized, very detail oriented. Okay. And you have to be as a great salesperson. Where this takes effect is tracking your prospects. Okay. Again, that's minor time is making lists and everything, but my organization and using CRMs to help me manage my pipeline and tracking from prospects to recruiting to my notes, all that stuff. It's streamlined it to save me time. Okay. Which is the ultimate resource. And it allows me to get more done in less. For example, I can block off 15 minutes and send out outbound messages, and usually to 15, 20 people plus, and then schedule several deals and then likely close one of those. And had I not been organized and done the work ahead of time to have that system in place, I'm losing it like a deal a week from that. Right. So another thing, great executives, entrepreneurs, CEOs have a lot of the great ones have great character and great discipline. Okay. People feel your energy in how you live your life when nobody is around. Guys, I'm telling you, this is real. And it reflects through your energy and confidence. You don't need to say a word. People just know. I'm telling you, I've been on both sides of the coin here. People just know. It's part of being a human. Okay. And there's a lot of leaders out there that don't live what they preach. I used to be that guy. I don't do that anymore. Okay. And so there is a different energy when you do hard shit, when you have discipline. Okay. You radiate differently with people. Okay. And when you're growing yourself personally, pushing yourself in different areas of your life. It could be your fitness, your emotional health, your relationships, your time management, your career, your mission, your finances, your contribution to spirituality. Okay, those are the different areas of your life. As you improve those areas, you become more attractive as a whole. That walking, talking billboard I'm talking about, that's what I mean. You become much more attractive, and a lot more people say yes to you. That's just the reality. Okay. Um, so as I've focused and prioritized on self-development, I have become more attractive. Not literally. I'd say literally too. I say that humbly, but just through self-care, working out and taking care of myself, but mostly with my energy and how I communicate and my confidence. And there's something called moral authority. When you say you're going to do something, you follow through and you do it. Okay, that's integrity, and it builds moral authority. I also call it internal integrity. And when you do that, you basically are selling yourself. So when you set a new target, your subconscious is actually going to believe it. Where most people, they set a huge target, huge goal, and they start getting some failure down the road, and their subconscious says, "See, I told you, bro, you don't have it in you." And then they end up quitting, giving up, or lowering their target. So you have to build this moral authority, this internal integrity, and set targets, go hit them, and then move it up. Okay. Great leaders, great CEOs, this is how they operate, and they build momentum. Okay. So, another key thing, ownership of mistakes. They never blame. They take extreme ownership. If it's not their fault, they still make it their fault. I lost $250,000 last year on our deals that didn't get funded, their leases. Technically, it wasn't my fault, but you already know I took the blame. Okay. I had a partner that one of my business partners actually chose to partner with this guy that supposedly had money. He didn't. And so our team had sold, like over 35 jobs that none of them got funded. So I lost a ton of money. My people lost money. I lost my top guys. Huge mistake. Okay. But I took accountability from that. And so the key with accountability is when you don't take accountability, you give your power away. When you give blame, you blame others, you are disempowering yourself. Okay. It is the first thing I look if I'm talking to another business owner or somebody that wants to team up with me at a high level and I don't see them take accountability, it is the biggest red flag. I'm like, see ya. That and a lack of integrity or lack of character. I don't care how much money you make, how smart you are. Like, I don't care. I won't do business with you. So, okay, that's actually leads me to my next point. Great CEOs and great salespeople leverage transparency. They don't hide. Okay. Transparency equals trust. Trust equals business, sales, recruiting, everything. Okay. Business is built on relationships, and relationships are founded on trust. And the key to trust is transparency. That means telling people the shit they probably don't want to hear, but it's true. Okay. And selling, some people will actually talk about this as like a baby negative, as a tactic. They do work. So I do use this. I don't use tactics. I just am open book with people in my company. I tell them our profits. I tell them our margin, and it makes my life a lot easier. I don't have to hide anything, right? It makes negotiating, everything's seamless, and we're all invested in something much bigger. And people, you don't need to hide the ugly. Like some salespeople are scared to tell them, it's a 25-year loan in solar, or that just different things of the fine print, or that people usually are skeptic about or worried about. Just bring it up. The sooner you bring it up, and the more transparent you are, the easier it is. Okay. All these dumbass sales trainers out there are teaching you how to overcome these objections. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're transparent, you don't get objections. You don't. Okay. So it makes me cringe when people ask me, how do I overcome the objection? I'm like, my God, I don't overcome it because I don't get it. I prevent it because I'm transparent, dude. So stop manipulating people with sales tactics, y'all. Start selling, start influencing the right way. All right. Use transparency, leverage it. It's a good thing. You'll feel better about yourself too. You'll have better clients. People asking, Nick, how's your attrition only 7% in solar? Dude, the industry's average is 55. I'm like, because there's a bunch of liars, bro. That's it. People admit stuff. That's it. Don't hide it. Okay. Watch what happens. You'll sell a lot more. The things that you're afraid to tell people will actually close a lot more deals. Okay. If people had trust, and trust was never an issue, I mean, the value is easy to communicate, and building pain and creating urgency, easy. The trust is the hard part. So again, if you want more tips on trust, go back and listen to other podcast, the 5 T's of trust. Okay. And again, transparency is one of those T's. So the final last thing I want to hit on, guys, and I'm grateful for anyone listening. Hopefully, this is providing you value. But they are not just master. Like I hate these master, communicators. Like screw that. Like okay, it's the thing that matters is not what you know, but it's what you get done. So great entrepreneurs are great executors. Okay, they get shit done. Period. Less talking, more doing. Nobody cares how cool your spreadsheet is. Nobody cares what your plan is, what you hope to do, what you want to do. And all that matters is what you actually did. What impact did you make, right? And what results are you getting? So take action. I know lots of guys that would just, hop on meetings and feeling like they're growing their business by talking. Again, movement does not equal progress, because if you're moving in figure eights, it doesn't do you any good. I've seen a lot of CEOs and tons of salespeople do this. Okay. So be a master of execution. Get shit done. You should have your KPIs and they should cause you anxiety not hitting those KPIs. Okay. It's an equation. You input a certain number, it's going to spit out a certain number. And so you refine that number, you drop, your ratios down by training. So there's three things, guys, that drive sales. It's skill, which is education. There's effort, it's your work ethic, and then there's efficiencies, time management. Okay, those are the only three. You have some sales trainers that leverage marketing to bait and switch people. Like Jeremy Miner, I love him. I love Jeremy. Let me just preface that. I should have blasted him, but he baits it. People saying, "Hey, sales is a skills game." It is a skills game. It's also a volume game. It is both. Okay. He always refers to Steph Curry. I've got a Steph Curry jersey in my office. Steph Curry became the greatest field goal 3-point shooter in NBA history because of his repetition and practice, because of his volume, okay, because of his work ethic, taking 500 practice shots a day, even in the off season. Okay. Year after year, he's taken over 3.5 million shots. Okay. To just make around 17,000 in his career. Think about that. So it is a skills game. Education is skill, and it's an effort game. And then it's an efficiency game of time management. So you can put more time into talking to more people. Again, don't major in minor things. Major time is time in front of your prospect. That is a qualified prospect. Okay. So, and little last quote, Einstein, guys, remember, he said, genius is 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. So it's not what you know, it's what you do. The guy we coined as the smartest dude on the planet said it himself. Okay. And Thomas Edison, same thing. He said, I have not failed. I've found 10,000 ways that won't work. Not 200, not 300, not 750, not 1,000, 10,000. Okay. So how many times have you failed? A lot of you guys are bitching and moaning that you're not having success. And honestly, like if I go look at your numbers, you don't even know your numbers for one. And number two, your numbers are going to be a lot less than what most people do. Grant Cardone, phenomenal salesman, great business owner. I'm not going to say great businessman. I don't agree with a lot of his stuff, but he's had a lot of success. And everyone knows his big thing is taking massive action, 10x rule, right? And so success leaves clues, guys. Here are some of the clues. Take massive action, be decisive, extreme ownership, have good character, leverage organization, master the principles of delegation, duplication, and master your time. Okay. Know your numbers, your stats, and have a big vision. These are just some of the things we hit on. I hope this was valuable. If so, please leave a 5-star review. That way this can reach more people and we can make a difference together and help salespeople find fulfillment, to bring integrity to the industry, and help people, grow from salespeople to entrepreneurs and just have more success in general. So thank you guys for tuning in.